Recording.
Hi, I'm Chris Andreassi, and I am here with my father, John Battista Andreassi. And for this, I think it started a few years ago when I read Tom Brokaw's book, The Greatest Generation. And as I went through chapter by chapter, I was fascinated by the fact that I saw my dad's life in every one of these chapters, in some fashion or form. I thought, boy, that's my dad. They're talking about my dad here. These were immigrants. When he refers to the greatest generation, they're immigrants, children of the Depression, veterans of World War II. So I would like to conduct an interview with John Battista, and I have a local historian here, Bradley Pflugh, and he's going to do the interview, and I'm going to turn it over to him right now. Bradley Pflugh.
First of all, thanks for having me into your house.
You're welcome.
Yes.
Sure.
I'm going to ask a few things, and if you think of anything else, please just go forward with whatever. Can you tell me, like, about your father, like where he grew up?
Well, he grew up and he was born in Villa D'Angelo, and whenever he was barely 16, he came to America and to find a job because there was no work over there.
Now, when he was in, is that in northern Italy, southern Italy?
That's about central, but it's considered the southern Italy. Yeah.
Okay. He was one of how many? Several brothers and sisters?
He had 4 brothers and a sister.
Okay. And then, now, did you know your grandparents too?
Who?
Your grandparents?
What about?
Did you know them?
No, I was just a baby when I left Italy. I was only, 18 or 20 months old. No, I don't remember them.
Okay, and that the village that they were from, had the family been there for several years?
Centuries probably.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, back that far.
Yeah.
Now, what kind of work would your dad have been in, or?
I would say just farming.
Okay, farming was
And
the
not,
main.
they didn't have farms as we know them.
Okay.
They just had plots of ground, one here, one there, and
So not one large piece of.
no, not one large piece.
Okay.
And they cultivated, and that's where they had to live from. But my grandfather did have some type of a little store. He might have made a few bucks there.
Like a grocery store or something. Like that,
Something. I know he baked bread. He baked bread.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. What's one thing I know that he baked bread.
And do you know why your dad thought of coming to America, coming to the United States?
I would say just for a job.
Okay, because
Yeah.
things were harder in Italy.
Things were tough over there. Yeah.
Okay, all right. Now, when he came over, he was married?
No.
No, he was single.
No,
Okay.
he didn't marry 15 years later or something like that, because he was 16. In fact, I don't think he was quite 16 when he came here.
Oh, okay. Now, did he come over with friends, or was he on his
Yeah,
own?
with relatives, really.
Okay.
Real.
And they came in, was it this region? Like this area right here, or?
They came to this region, but then my dad, maybe on the kind of work, he went to Polk to work.
Okay, Polk.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think there was some kind of a quarry up there.
Okay. And then did he meet your mother here?
No, he knew her whenever he left Italy. And
Okay. Okay. Now, did he go back several times?
he
or-
went back a number of times, yes.
And then brought her with her?
No, well, actually, he went over. I know he went over in 22, and we think he went back in 1912, but not sure of that. And then about 1925, he went back and he married my mom.
Oh, okay. Now, he married her in Italy?
Yeah.
Okay, and then they both came back over?
No, then he came back here and he worked, and my mom and I, we come over with a brother of his, my uncle, Gito,
Okay,
and we come over here, but he was here working.
okay. Now, what kind of work did he do? Was
Well, mostly mining.
Okay. Now, would that have been in Parker or East Brady or?
Well, his last job, and probably the longest job or in tenure, was probably in Brady's Bend Limestone Works.
Okay. All right.
But he worked in Polk. What's some of the other places?
Boyers?
Boyers.
Boyers too. Okay.
Yeah.
Now he was. There were brothers. Uncles were over here also, right? There are three.
Well,
of them?
yeah. My dad came over in 1906. In 1908, he brought a brother over.
Okay.
In 1910, another brother.
Oh, okay.
Homer City.
Huh?
Homer City.
Oh, yeah, Homer City, too. They worked at Homer City.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, when World War I broke out, they were here or they were in Italy?
They were gone.
Okay.
My dad was killed by a drunken hit-and-run driver and killed. And the fellow that hit him, he went to Pittsburgh and was ready to go on the bus whenever the cops picked him up.
Okay. What year was that?
1931.
Okay, in the 30s.
31, yeah.
Now, did any of them serve in World War I in the First War?
In the Italian Army.
Oh, okay. And that's what. Is that what the pictures are in the back there?
Yeah,
That's of them.
yeah. Three of them served in Italian Army. They were, in fact, two of them was here and they went back just to fight the war.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. Did they have to do that, or was that?
The Italian government said they had to, but they wouldn't have had to.
Okay, they could have stayed here if they
They
wanted
could have
to.
stayed here.
Now, were they in the same unit? Do you know? Like together?
No.
They were separated.
Yeah.
Okay. And then after that was over, they came back here permanently.
1919, my dad come over here. The one back here, my uncle, the smaller one there,
Okay.
he was killed in World War I.
Oh, okay. Now, is he buried over there?
Yeah.
Okay. And is that in the hometown that you were?
You mean my dad?
Your
Well,
uncle that was killed?
No, he's buried in Trieste.
Okay. Is that
They've got a
near
big
your-
military funeral
okay.
cemetery up there.
And then your dad and his other brother came.
They come back. One of them had to go back to Italy though because he was sick.
Okay.
But my uncle, I have an uncle Gino, and my dad. They stayed here and
Okay.
worked.
Okay. And were they usually living near each other or apart most of the time, or?
Sometimes they separated. Like my dad would be working here, and my uncle would be working in Boyers or someplace else.
And usually mining.
Usually mining of one type or another. Yeah.
Okay. Now, where did you go to school first? Was it were you here? Where were you?
Yeah. My first grade was down Brady's Bend.
Oh, okay. One room schoolhouse or?
Yeah, actually 2 room, one upstairs, one up downstairs.
Okay. A lot of kids in a class, or?
Well, there was, quite a few, but there was, each room held 3 classes, or first and second and third,
Okay.
and but it was full. I mean, if I remember correctly, the room I was in, which was a big room, it was pretty full.
Now, one teacher, right?
One teacher,
And then one upstairs too, or not?
one.
Okay. Is the building still there or not?
Actually, the building is still there. It's now made into apartments.
Okay. Oh, okay. That's interesting. Now, what was it, like kindergarten through 6th?
Well,
or-
no kindergarten. That
Okay.
come much later.
Okay. And then they put all those grades together, right? In one class, like 1, 2, or 3, or not?
Yeah, like 1, 2, or 3, and the teacher would take turns with the first grader, second grader, third grader.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then upstairs was the other grades.
Right. Yeah.
Along those lines. Now, are you do you have brothers and sisters?
I have one brother and one sister.
Okay. Are they older or younger?
They're younger than I am.
Okay. And did they go to school there too, or?
Yeah, they started there. Yeah.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Now, how long did you go there? Through.
I think maybe through 6th grades.
Okay. And then after that.
I went to Kaler. There was a high school up there.
Okay. Well, I'm not familiar with that. That's in that area,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
now-
it's 2 or 3 mile up the road from where I went to grade school.
Okay, and how long did you go there?
I think 7th through the junior year,
Okay.
and then the senior year I went to East Brady to graduate, because
Oh,
they didn't
okay.
graduate anybody in this high school.
Yeah. Because then a lot of people didn't even go the whole way through, right?
Oh, a lot of them quit, yeah.
Okay. When do you think most people quit? 7th, 8th, 9th? Or is that too young?
Yeah, 15, 16,
And then just go to work somewhere?
get a job someplace.
Okay. Would you say most of your friends stayed the whole way through, or did most of them drop out early?
I would say half of my friends dropped out and half of them stayed in.
Mining, farm, do you think they were...
Mining, farming, working in brickyards, any kind of odd job they could pick up.
Okay. So, like, staying in school, like today they tell you you have to do it,
Yeah,
or you're in trouble, but back then you didn't really have to do that.
no, you could quit.
I have a question about school before you ask your next question, Brad. You have a brother with the same American name as you. Your brother John A. Andreassi, you're John B. Andreassi. How did that happen?
Well, I started the school, well first, I didn't know how to speak English. All I could do was speak Italian.
Okay.
I'd say, because my teacher told me years later, she just liked to pull her hair out because I would say 3 or 4 words in Italian, then one in English. And anyhow, whenever I started school, I went to school with the name Giambattista. Well, she didn't think that was right, so she changed it to John, which is really a translation of the first part of my name. And then a year later, or 2 years later, my brother started school, and his name was John Anthony. So the teacher could see that, hey, we're going to run into trouble here, you know. How about if I call you Anthony instead of John? He wouldn't hear to it. So right now, a lot of people make jokes about it, but it doesn't bother me a bit. John A and John B.
So they could tell the two of you. Now, did that, you talked about the school after it was a 2-story schoolhouse.
Yeah, 2-story.
Now, the one after that, it's still there too?
No, no, the one after, they tore it down some 10, 15 years ago.
Now, how did people get to school? Was it,
Well,
is there a bus back?
there was a bus whenever I went to Kaler,
Okay.
but whenever I was going to Pine Run, that's what they call the school, Pine Run School,
Okay.
we had to walk.
Oh, really?
And I probably had to walk from Bureau, a good mile, huh? But then there was people lived in Lower Brady's Bend, they had to walk further.
And it didn't matter? What if it was like horrible out, snowing?
You went to school.
Okay, all right. That's all there was to it.
Yeah.
But then by the time of 7th or 8th or 9th grade, there's...
We were bus to Kaler, yeah.
And then you said in the last years you went to...
East Brady to graduate.
Okay. Now, is that there still, or is that a...
No, they merged with Carn City here, I don't know, some 6, 8 years ago or what? There's a longer than that.
Longer than that, no.
Longer than that.
Okay. All right. Yeah. That's excellent. Now, what would have been your first job?
Actually, first job was on a farm.
Okay.
And,
Where you got, was that the family
Well,
or a nearby farm?
a nearby farm, I maybe had to walk half or 3/4 mile to get there.
Now, was that after you were done with school or
No, that was while I was going to school.
Okay. Did you do that in the after classes or on the weekends or summer?
It started after classes and weekends, and then I even went up in the morning a lot of times to milk the cows.
How early was that?
Well, I suppose I had to go to school somewhere around 8 o'clock or something like that. Probably from 6 to 7 or something like that.
Okay. And you would have been how old? Like,
Well, actually, I started there when I was real young, maybe 8 or 9, because there's poor people and then there's poor people.
Yeah.
Well, we were one of the poor.
Okay.
My mom had 4 kids and no job and couldn't speak English, and now whenever I started to work, I got a quart of milk a day.
Oh,
and then I graduated to 2 courts, and then finally a gallon.
Yeah. Now, did you live? Where did you live there? The house was in
Well,
East Brady. Is that what you?
no, Brady's Bend actually.
Okay,
where I was
Brady's Bend.
Row of houses, there were company houses called Blue Road.
Okay, and that's and then your dad went to work for that company, the mine company.
Yeah, right.
Okay, is the houses still there?
No, they were all torn down too.
Okay, there's nothing there.
No,
Okay, okay. And then now was mother usually at home, trying to
My
keep
mom-
up with the house and everything, right?
Yeah, my mom was usually at home, yeah.
Okay, the kids went out. Okay. Now, what about now? How close was the farm that you were? Did you have to walk there?
Half
or
a
did-
mile or a little more,
Okay.
maybe 3/4 of a mile.
Okay. So sometimes in the morning and then after school too.
Yeah.
Now, what was the first? Was there a local hangout place or anything where people went? Was there any like
Well,
a corner
that-
store or anything, or was that just didn't happen?
Back in those days, we didn't do that. We played a lot of baseball. Everybody,
Okay.
the row houses that I was raised in, some people said there was 100 kids there. There was 5 or 6 Johns, and they would say Johnny Grace, Johnny Anna, which was Ann Severio, and Johnny Clalia, my mom. I
Okay.
mean, that's the way that we distinguished them.
Who is it? Okay. Now, where did they play ball at? Was there?
Well, we had a little field there. It was on company property, and
Okay.
we played ball from morning till evening.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Yeah. Was that was the big sport then? Right?
that was a big sport then, yeah.
Now, did the schools organize anything, or was it more just?
No,
don't
the
think
grade
it-
schools didn't. Whenever I went to high school, they had a basketball team.
Okay.
But while we were kids, also we'd play a lot of games that these kids don't know anything about.
Like a.
Mommy pegged.
I'm not familiar with that.
Well, you have cut the end off of a broom handle, sharpen the point, make a little nest, let the point stick out, and hit that, and it would go up in the air and then hit it.
Yeah, different from what they do now. Huh?
Yeah,
Now the houses are real close together, huh?
real close.
So everybody knew.
Everybody knew everybody.
Okay. Do you think most people got along? Like,
Yeah,
was,
we got along pretty good. Yeah,
now, was it mostly immigrants from
yeah, mostly immigrants. Yeah,
Italy? Or
Italy, but there was also Croatians.
Okay. Germans too, or no?
I don't know of any Germans in this row.
Okay. Now, did like when your dad and them came over and decided to go there for work, was there other families that came over with them? Like,
Yeah, there's other people came with them, but a lot of people were here before. And
is that why he chose to come here? You think?
yeah, I'm sure influenced by his relatives. Really.
One of the other families.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So you'd say the families were real close.
Yeah.
The company families.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, was that mine up and running for a real long time?
Well, in the early 1900s it started, and I think it shut down in 1956 or 8.
Okay. Wow, that's a long time.
Yeah.
Now, what was your first like full-time job
Well,
after school or?
I guess working at the limestone. You know,
Okay. Yeah. No.
I drove the company store. They had a company store too, and I delivered groceries. But my really full-time 8-hour-a-day job was at the limestone mine.
Now, was that a specific company that owned that?
Actually, it was owned by U.S. Steel,
Okay.
but it was called Pittsburgh Limestone back then.
And that's right in Brady's Bend.
Right in Brady's Bend, yeah.
Okay. Now, were you living in one of the blue houses then?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
When was the first time you moved out of there?
Well, I guess whenever I got married, that would be 49.
Okay.
Was it 49?
And then now your brother, was he?
He stayed there a lot later.
Okay. Did he work at the? Did he?
No, he didn't. No, he was a mechanic.
in town, or
Yeah, in East Brady, yeah.
okay. He work at his own place, or did he work for somebody?
No, he worked for somebody.
Okay. Is that
Sure.
still there today, or is it?
It's there, but it's not an automobile company anymore. It's boat works now.
Okay. All right. Okay. How long do you think you were at the Limestone?
About 8 or 9 years.
Hard work.
Yeah, I didn't like it at all.
Oh, you did.
And then I left there and I went in the oil business.
Okay. Now, what kind of hours is the Limestone? Was it
8 hours a day,
5 days? Okay.
5 days a week. But sometimes they had a rush, we'd work 10-hour days.
Okay. But not weekends, right? They usually.
I don't think so.
Do you have an idea what the pay was like at all, or the?
Well, I don't remember when I originally started, but I know after I worked there a few years, we got a 2 or 3 cent raise, and I think I was making 71.5 cents an hour,
Wow.
I believe.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, where would like where you were living there when you were going to work at the mine, was people go get their food? Was it a local grocery store, or was it all coming in from the farms, or?
No, well, we'd go to the grocery store. There was a Union Supply store,
Still.
but my people never dealt there. We always bought our groceries from Bazzudi's store, which, you know, Italians.
Okay, so you
We
stuck
sort of
with.
stuck together with, yeah.
Okay.
And a lot of people did that.
Okay. Is that store still there, or is it?
No, they closed down, I don't know, 6, 8 years ago,
Uh,
maybe longer.
10, 12.
Okay. All right. So you guys shopped at a
We grew up.
friendly.
Yeah,
Okay.
right. In fact, we were related to them.
Okay. All right. Now, would you say like what was an average like meal at the dinner table coming home back then?
Well,
Because it's changed today with pizza.
yeah.
And
Well,
fried
in the
foods.
summertime, Mom always had a big garden. She had a lot of times our meals come strictly from the garden.
Oh, okay.
We did eat a lot of pasta.
Was there a lot of room for a garden in the back, or is it?
A pretty good size garden, pretty good size. And we ate a lot of pasta because flour was real cheap. And I remember Mom buying it in 100-pound bags.
Jeez.
And well, she made bread from that too.
Right.
And back in those days, you had to sift all the flour because sometimes it was muggy.
Oh, really? So you
you
shouldn't
had,
be doing all that.
yeah, you had to sift it.
And now for the beef and stuff like that from the grocery store, from the farms, or?
Yeah, no, if we bought it, and which we ate very little beef, it come from the store.
Expensive? Is that
No.
why, or just?
No. I remember one of my relatives saying once, whenever I come to this country, eggs are 5 cents a dozen. And he said, I didn't have enough money to buy them. And he said, now, I don't care what they are, I can buy all the eggs I want.
It's.
But, you know, I remember another relative of mine, during the Depression, they built a big temple. He made 30 cents an hour. This was 1930, 31.
Okay. Now, what would have been like a treat for a dessert, like something like today it's all ice cream and
Yeah.
there was.
Actually, we never ate much dessert at home
Okay, it was a main meal.
because
and then
we didn't have money to
to do that.
buy sweets.
Right. And what was dinner time? 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, or?
Yeah, 5 or 6 in the evening, yeah. And if we were home around 12 o'clock.
Oh, okay.
Excuse me, but you had a story about Pete Silverio when you were kids, inviting him into the for dinner. Do you remember that story?
No.
So you invited him in?
That was Joey McLean, I think.
Oh, Joey, I got the wrong person. Joey McLean.
Yeah, Joey McLean and I, we worked together. We was cleaning, we call them flats, railroad cars, because they hauled iron ore and coal and all kinds of stuff.
How old were you? Was this
Well, I was probably
before the
maybe like
limestones?
20. Maybe like 20.
Okay. Were you working at the limestone mine?
Well, first I served in the service almost 2 years, and then I got a job at the limestone.
Okay.
Anyhow, we had to clean these cars. Joey, he had to pack his own lunch at home, and he didn't have time to pack one, so he asked me if he could get a bite to eat at my place. And I was a little hesitant to invite him or say yes because I didn't know what we were going to have. Well, that day, Mom cooked peas and eggs, and I don't know, she might have had a slice of bologna in there, and I was a little bit ashamed, because I figured, boy, they ate steak and potatoes and everything else. And he told me, he said, that's one of the best meals I ever had.
He did. Where was you were talking about cleaning cars, railroad?
Yeah.
And where was that? Was that right in town?
Yeah, right ahead of the temple, we called the temple, and right behind our gardens. I mean, we houses were here, the garden was here, the railroad tracks were there, pretty close.
And they pay you to
Well,
build.
yeah, that was my job, mine and Joey's job, to clean the railroad cars.
Tough job.
Well, not really, but you had to open the bottom doors and then crawl inside, and anything sticking on the side you had to clean off.
Now, do you can you do you remember when the Depression hit? Could you tell things were different in the area?
I didn't realize we were even in a depression because although I never went hungry, and I was just a kid then, I was born at 26, so, and I never realized that we were poor because if nothing else, me getting the milk from the farm and bread, we ate a lot of that,
Right.
bread and milk.
And everything's so capsulized here, it isn't like you're in a big city
Yeah.
or something like that.
Then later on I began to realize whenever you'd see all these young men, 15, 16, 17, loafing around, no place for them to go.
No work.
No work.
Now they always talk about in the 30s the automobiles, but some people are still on horseback, right?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Do you think there's
Yeah.
more of one than the other, or just share the road, or?
There was probably more automobiles, but there was a lot of people that had horse and buggy.
Okay. Well, it'd be cheaper too.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Now, do you know? Did people talk about especially into the later 30s and stuff like that? They were mad at the government for this, or did they blame
No, I never.
businesses or anything like that?
I mean, if there was, I don't remember any of that.
nobody
I
was
mean,
Now, how old were you? Did you get drafted? Is that what happened?
well, I really enlisted, but I would have got drafted.
Okay. And it's better to enlist, right? Is that
Well,
what they said?
I picked the Navy, and
Right.
so it was better for me, I think.
Okay. Now, do you know? Was there like a? Do you think most people didn't like? Did people know what was going on in Europe and Japan and knew about Hitler and?
No, I don't think they did.
Okay.
I mean, none of us common folks knew about all of that stuff,
Okay. Now, was there a newspaper in town, like a Brady's?
There was a little, I think it was called the East Brady Record.
Okay.
But it did come out every day, though.
Like probably weekly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Weekly.
Because in Butler was on Wednesdays.
Yeah.
Now, for the time it came when you were going to enlist, do you think people knew do you think more people disliked the Japanese or the Germans, or it really didn't? And
I don't know.
You know what they thought about the Italians too, because the Italians were on the German side.
Yeah.
With Mussolini, was there any talk about that with all the Italians?
No.
So no one thought anything.
Uh-uh.
Now, did you have a preference where you would go?
Yeah, I would like to go on to Europe. I thought maybe I could go to Italy to visit my relatives, but it didn't work out. I went to the South Pacific.
Now, did a lot of your friends enlist too?
Oh yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Because if not, you'd probably get drafted.
yeah.
Right. Okay. Now, do you know where did you have to go to enlist?
I don't know.
Right.
Probably Butler, but I don't remember.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then when you went, did you have to drive somewhere? Did they come pick you up?
No, they pretty much handled that.
Okay.
Yeah, I maybe had to drive to Pittsburgh or something like that, but after that, it was bus or train or.
Why'd you choose the Navy? Do you know? Did it?
Well, I didn't want to be crawling around in the mud.
You're right. Now, where did they take you first? Training camp, right?
Yeah, I went to Sampson, New York. I think they shut that down because I haven't heard of that for a long time. Had my boot training at Sampson, New York.
Now, how long do you think that you were there? Several months?
Yeah, I would say. I was going to say 8 or 9 weeks.
Okay. Tough training?
Yeah, they put you through the ropes.
Okay. Now, a lot of physical stuff like
Yeah, a lot of physical stuff. Yeah.
like running or there.
Running and rope climbing, ladder climbing, swimming.
The classes too? Did they have you like?
Yeah, we had some classes. Yeah.
Okay. Now, do you think they kind of showed you where you were going? Like, did you know you were when you joined the Navy? You didn't know if you were going to go to Pacific or you're okay.
Yeah, I had no idea.
And then now, when did you find out you were going to go to the Pacific?
Well, probably not for 4 or 5 months after I enlisted.
And then did they fly you out?
No flying, no.
Okay.
Railroad.
Out to
Well,
California or where did they?
no, from New York I went to Norfolk. From Norfolk to New Orleans, that's where I picked my ship up.
Oh, okay. Do you have to go through the Panama Canal?
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay. Now, do you know, was it a, like, what kind of ship were you assigned to? Was it a
I was on a small ship,
destroyer? Or?
LST.
Oh, okay. All right. A lot of guys on that?
Well, it took about 120 men to man the ship in wartime, in order to man the guns. But peacetime, probably 25 or 30.
What was it like on there? Is it cots downstairs? I mean, are you on a hammock or are you on a cot? Or?
No, I was on a canvas mattress, but I was on a cot, and there was about 3, 4 tiers.
Going out. Well, what did they eat? Like, what did you? They serve hot meals? Or
Yeah, they served hot meals and
coffee.
as a whole, pretty good food. Sometimes not prepared well, but
Okay, can I ask a question? You were in Sampson, New York, you said?
yeah.
And did you go straight from there to Norfolk, or did you go home first?
Somewhere in between, I did come home. I think after boot camp, yeah.
And then from home, you went to Norfolk?
No, I think, well, I think I went back to Sampson.
And
And then in a few days, we went to Norfolk. And,
do you remember seeing your mother before you went?
yeah, oh yeah.
And at what point was that?
I think right after boot camp.
Right after boot camp, you went home,
Yeah,
and then when you went back to Sampson, that was it.
yeah, I didn't see her till after the war then.
What was that like?
What?
Can you describe the scene, the emotion of leaving? Your brothers and sister and mother.
It was tough. It was emotional. I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
Now, did your brother go?
He went, but he went after the war was over. He was 2 years younger than me.
Now, when did you sign up? Was it before Pearl Harbor or
No, way after.
after? Okay.
I made the last 2 major battles, or I was in them, in the South Pacific. Like all of the other big battles was already fought.
So when did you go to the boot camp? Was it 42 or 43 or 1944?
44.
Okay. Okay. And then your brother went.
I think he went 46.
Okay, so he went at the end. Okay. Now, people knew about Pearl Harbor, right?
Oh yeah.
Everybody had heard about that.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Right.
Yeah.
Now that you were talking about that boat, did everybody got along? Like, do you think?
Pretty much. There was a few cantankerous Southerners, but
Okay. I was going to ask.
but as a whole, everybody got along.
Was it people
pretty
from
well.
all over?
All over,
Okay.
yeah.
Did you know anybody on there?
No.
Oh, really?
No.
Okay. Now, was there any way to like write a letter back home or to?
Yeah, you could write.
Okay. Were you ever able to do that, or was it?
Yeah, I did it. You were censored. You know, you couldn't say much. I mean, the officers read all the letters.
Oh, they did.
If they didn't like what you wrote, they just cut it out.
Like that piece out of the
Yeah.
paper. Okay. Now, do you usually write in your mother?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, could she write you a letter?
No. Because by that time, you know, she couldn't learn. She couldn't
Okay.
write it in English.
Okay.
So probably my brother or sister did it.
Okay. So you got letters from home too.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, so there was people from all over the U.S. on that
All
boat
over the
then.
U.S. Yeah.
Now, what was your job on there?
I was a seaman. You know, just a regular.
Okay.
Go for a cleanup man and everything. Then right at the end of the war, whenever they started to discharge everybody, because we didn't have to shoot anymore. So the older fellows, they got transferred off the ship,
Right.
and they couldn't find a cook, so they said, "You want to cook?" I said, "No, we'll give you third class." You know,
That's a pay raise, right?
pay raise, yeah. Then I said, okay.
Now, there were guns on the boat too, right?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
That's the reason we needed 130 men to man the guns.
To man everything. Now, do you remember going through the Panama Canal?
Oh, yeah.
That had to be a sight.
Oh, unbelievable. You know, I never saw anything like it. Well, those
Everybody-
people,
Are they
yeah.
all lined up to go through the
Oh,
boats?
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
You have to, now, do you remember, now, when you came out on the other side, did they tell you, like, what islands you were going to, or did they keep
No.
everybody in the black?
Yeah, we were in the dark. Our first stop was Pearl Harbor.
Okay.
You know, I don't know, to refuel, get supplies and everything.
Were you able to get out and go on Pearl Harbor?
Yeah, I live in and about, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Did you enjoy it there?
At that time, no, but I went back later and it was really a sight. Nice.
Yeah, because that's wartime. And,
Yeah.
Okay. A lot of ships, huh?
A lot of ships, a lot of ships.
Now, did you pull right into Pearl Harbor with, like, where there were battleships in there stuff too, and
I think we did. Some places we'd pull up to the dock and some places we had to anchor out.
then how did you come in on a little boat?
Little boat, small boat, yeah.
Okay. And then how long do you think you were there?
Probably maybe like 3 days.
Okay. Now, this is going to sound like some weird stuff, but like, did they give you like one set of clothes, two set of clothes, or like, is everybody issued so much equipment?
Yeah, uh-huh.
Like, so many sets of like
Well,
socks?
we got a white uniform and a black uniform, and then we got dungarees. And,
Okay. Now, do you still have those? Your
no,
uniform?
I don't know whether, do you have anything? Yeah.
I have one uniform,
Black one?
blue,
Okay, blue.
Okay. So,
no hat. I don't
I
have
tried
the
to buy
hat.
a
though.
hat. I couldn't never buy one.
what do you mean when you were there, or later?
No, I wanted to buy one to go with that uniform.
Oh, okay.
All the hats are white, regardless of what uniform.
Uncle Johnny has one.
Does he? Yeah, but you won't get him.
No, I already tried.
So they issue like so much clothing, and
Yeah.
then now meals on the ship, 3 meals,
Yeah.
3 square meals.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, is it like shift work? Do you do 8 hours, or are you on call the
Yeah,
whole time? Or?
yeah. Well, whenever we was in peaceful waters, scrape and paint and, you know, keeping you, anything to keep you busy, worked
Okay.
8 hours.
Okay.
But then whenever we got down in the war zone, then all of that work was scrapped and used to it on watch.
Okay. Now, what about in downtime? Was there like what the guys do? Like if there was time off or something, there was an hour or two, basically talk, or was there games or something, or cards?
Well, yeah, there was lots of poker games, which
Okay.
I couldn't get in. But but if we was on shore, they'd give us a 8-hour leave or something. You could go out and walk around. And
Now, did they pay you weekly or monthly? Like if you went like to, what would you do if you wanted to buy something and you were on shore? Like,
I think they paid about every 2 weeks, but you didn't necessarily get it. You know, maybe you'd have to wait 3 weeks.
and you keep all the money on yourself because there's no bank or how did?
Well, I sent most of it home, and I only kept a certain amount, enough to buy toothpaste and shaving cream and stuff like that.
Do you remember? Are there things that you took for granted at home, and then when you got on that ship, like like things you couldn't get? Like cigarettes are a big deal, huh?
You could get cigarettes easy.
Okay.
They were real cheap.
Did you smoke?
At that time, that's when I started, really.
Okay. What was the brand? Well, there's.
Well,
Was
more
it
the old
Lucky or
brand,
something?
like Campbell's, Lucky Strike, Chesterfield's.
Okay. Everybody smoked pretty much.
Almost everybody smoked.
Wow. Okay.
It wasn't bad back then.
Yeah, it's not the way they think of it today.
You're right.
Yeah. Now, so you'd mail a lot of the money home.
Yeah.
Okay.
In fact, they took it right out of my pay. I only got a certain amount.
And then you could tell them to send the rest of it
Yeah.
back to
Yeah.
probably mom, right?
Yeah.
Back to mom. Okay. So, card games were a big thing then.
Yeah.
On the deck and stuff like that. Now, when you were where would you have gone after Pearl Harbor?
I'm not sure that I remember the exact, but we went to Saipan, the Mariana Islands, Saipan, Guam,
Now, are you in a big? Is there a bunch of ships going, or just?
a bunch of ships.
Okay. Is that neat to look out there and see all those?
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
whenever we were down there, we traveled in convoy, you know,
Okay.
and there was maybe like 25 or 30 LSTs. Then we'd have destroyer escorts running around, sub-chasers.
People get nervous over the Japanese submarines,
Well, yeah, I mean, you know, you always kept thinking about them.
right? Or
but,
planes could do something.
Yeah.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Now, was it the climate out there? Is it
Oh,
nice? Too hot? Too cold?
Holy smokes, it was hot.
Like real hot?
Real hot.
Now, were you allowed to like take off something? Could you take off your shirt back then?
Yeah, you
or
could
was it
do
all
whatever,
rigid
yeah.
like today? You see the Marines today, and they can't do
Yeah,
anything.
no, we could do anything shirtless if you wanted to.
Okay, really? Okay, as long as you get.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, for the Navy, is it boots or was it shoes?
We had shoes back. We had shoes.
Okay.
The only thing I can remember you weren't allowed was a big long facial hair
Okay.
and a lot of hair, because they said if there's ever a fire, it could be harmful. you know.
Harmful. So you had to keep your hair short.
You had to keep. You could grow a beard, but you had to keep it trimmed.
Okay. Now, what did you do? Were you clean?
I shaved practically every day.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, what about
I always kept my hair short.
kept your hair short the
Yeah.
whole time? Okay.
Yeah.
Now, so all those ships are moving in a huge convoy together.
Yep.
Okay. Now, they ever stop out at sea, or is it always moving?
Always moving,
Okay.
zigzagging and everything else.
Okay. So that nobody can catch on to where you're
Yeah.
to avoid submarines. Yeah. Okay. Now, you said the first islands were the
Marianas, I mean, Saipan, Guam. Isn't Tinian one of them?
yeah. Now, did you get off on those islands?
For a few hours. I mean, a short, you know, maybe you'd get 4 or 5 or 6 hours, and then we'd come in, somebody else would go. And,
Now, could you go swimming? Did anybody jump into the?
oh yeah, yeah.
Okay, is that nice, right? Beautiful, or is it
Well,
still too hot? Or
I'm not a swimmer, so but
Okay,
a lot
alright.
of people, they went swimming practically every day. Some of them, whenever we were docked.
Right. Okay. Now, natives on the islands?
There's some, yeah.
Okay, nice. Do you think they knew what was going on at all, or were you allowed to talk to them, or did they speak English?
Yeah, but I don't remember in Marianas, but we were one island, Carolina, I think.
Carolina Islands.
And there were natives there. I'm not sure that I can understand them. The women went topless. I mean, they
Nothing, oh, really?
really.
Okay. Now, will they have like a dress or something on?
Yeah, they had a lower, but they didn't. They were topless. But
Okay.
I already seen that one time. Maybe it was just this one little town or something. I don't know. I already saw that once.
Now, do you think they were happy we were there? Or did you?
I would think so because a lot of them were under the rule of the Japanese. They were pretty cruel.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Now, on those islands, is there like an American dock there? Or is that, like you said, where you stopped and then took a small boat in?
Well, we at that time the Americans controlled those islands, so we went into a American dock or wharf or something.
Now, were you on that same boat the whole
Whole
time?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, you said towards the end, you moved closer to Japan?
Yeah. The first major battle I was in was Iwo Jima,
Okay.
and then a few months later Okinawa.
Now, where were you at Iwo Jima? Out in the water?
No, we docked. I mean, with LST, you got doors that open up,
Okay.
and then there's a ramp. Well, then you hit the beach
With
with the ship. I mean, you were on the beach.
goes right up on.
Then you lowered the ramp, and all the equipment would drive off.
Okay.
Now, excuse me, when you were going to these islands, did you have a D-Day and H hour of
Yeah,
at each island?
yeah. I remember at Iwo Jima, we were supposed to go there D+6 or something. That meant 6 hours after they initially hit the beach. But they didn't have the beach secured, so we didn't get to go for 2 or 3 days before they had. The
Now,
beach
was
secured.
that unusual for your time in the Pacific? Was it pretty much like clockwork? If it was
If
D
it-
plus 6, you were there at 6?
Yeah, we were there. We were rendezvousing because they weren't ready for us.
But until Iwo Jima, you were able to land when you were supposed to dock when you were supposed to.
Yeah.
I'm just
That was the
asking.
first battle I was in, though.
Oh, that was the first battle, and okay.
Now, those ships are slow, huh?
Real slow
I was gonna
and a
say,
flat
yeah.
bottom.
Now, how do you refuel?
Well, whenever we'd get to, an island or something, they
Okay.
had fuel for us.
Okay, they bring a ship out that's a tanker, or
No, usually we got on a dock, but whenever we were docked. But they did have ships to refuel. I'm not sure that we did, but
Okay. Now, do you remember at Iwo Jima the LST landing and the?
yeah.
Okay. Now, was that in the morning or the afternoon or the evening or?
Well, it was early in the morning,
Okay.
and there was what they called Mount Serbachi,
Okay.
and it was a dead volcano, that went up in the air, and tunnels, and they had guns on rails. I guess that's what I was told, and go in so far and then turn, and they'd come out and shoot, and then pull back in, and not somebody else would come out, and so we had a lot of trouble securing the beach.
Now, from when the battle began and when you went in, how much time do you think there was?
A couple days.
Okay, so now could you hear it? Could you hear
Oh
it?
yeah.
Okay, were there planes in the sky or?
There was, and most of the planes the Japanese planes were mostly suicide
Really?
bombers. Yeah.
Okay. Did you ever see one of them coming down?
Yeah.
Okay.
A
Do you
number of them.
think they actually hit the target most of the time or not?
Yeah. Sometimes they hit.
Okay.
One just missed us.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
And
Were you on top when that happened?
yeah,
Or you,
yeah.
Did you just see
I
it
was
coming
in my
right?
gun station, and it come real close to hitting the mast, and it only landed about 20, 25 feet from the ship.
Wow.
But I saw a sub chaser, I believe it was a sub chaser, getting hit by one.
Okay.
And we were told, no way to confirm it, but there was 8 or 10 people killed.
Okay. You could see the explosion and.
Yeah.
The one that almost hit you, what happened? Luckily, the Japanese pilot failed, but
Well,
why'd he fail?
He probably failed because everybody was shooting at him. Somebody, they damaged the plane or something.
Now, how many guns do you think were on that ship of yours? 3 or 4? Or?
Oh,
Oh.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. At least 6. We had a quad. I think it took about 6 men in that crew.
Okay, and that's one of those 4-barrel guns with the
Yeah.
cartridges on the corners that repeats.
Yeah.
Okay. So
The gun
before,
I was on was a single. You had a spotter and a pointer,
okay.
and you had a first loader and a second loader. I think I was a second loader. I stood up on the platform there, and as though the spotter or pointer, I forget which way it works, had a crank,
Right.
to zero on, and another one to go this way, and then the gun captain, he would hand me a clip of 4, and I'd ram him into the chamber.
How big are those?
Well, they weren't very big, maybe that big, about that long.
How fast could that fire?
Well, pretty well, real fast. Yeah, nothing like today, but
Right. How did that? How would that work? You'd grab the.
the gun captain, we had all the way around the tub there was shells, clips of 4, and the gun captain would get one of them, hand them to me, and I would ram them down in the chamber.
Okay. And then one of the other guys would,
One would elevate, and the other one would go horizontal.
and then fire through those 4 shots.
Yep.
And then it would happen all over again.
Yeah, yeah.
Now, did that? Were you involved with combat with Japanese planes at some other times, or was it
Yeah.
pretty much those 2 battles at the end?
2 or 3. Well, that's the only time.
Okay.
2 battles at the end, and I saw them at least 3 times.
Okay. Now that plane that missed you, it just crashed into the.
Yeah.
Anything left of it? Do you remember?
No, but I was on the opposite side. But we had 50 millimeters, right there close, and they shot like hell. I don't know whether the pilot surfaced or what, but
Make sure he's not. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Now, when you hit the beach, what, 2 or 3 days later, right?
yeah, 2 days later, I believe.
Okay. Were there other ships hitting the beach at the same time?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, where were you at? Like when that happened, were you guys down below waiting to come out, or were you on the top? Or
No, I was on the top. I was
Okay.
on the deck.
What did they have you doing? Were you manning a gun, or were you to go in with?
No, we was in our guns a lot.
Okay.
We were in our guns a lot, yeah.
And then, how far onto the beach did it go before it let people out?
Well, you just hit the beach and you went as far as you could.
Okay. And then you were saying the gates open up,
Yeah,
right?
I'll show you after a bit here. Mike found a picture on the internet.
Okay. Now, did you get out with them? Or did you...
I didn't have to, but I did. I mean,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. Now, can you describe that? Was there... obviously, there's gunfire everywhere, right?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
By that time, it was a little better at a distance, so,
Okay. Battle had been
Yeah.
pushed.
Now, we had people aboard ship. Russ Collard, I don't know if you remember him, Chris, or not. He actually went out in the field and took pictures. He had pictures of dead Marines and dead Japanese.
Friend of yours?
Yeah.
Okay. He's not from around here, right? He was...
No, he lived in Florida. He was from Ohio originally, now Florida.
Okay. Now, what did they come out of the vehicle on? Were they running? Or are you in a Jeep? Or are you in a...
Well, we usually carried a tank,
Oh, really?
a small tank, army trucks, jeeps.
Okay.
They just drove right off.
Okay. Now, what did you go out in?
Me, I mean, I just got off the ship on the sand.
Okay. And then did they form a perimeter there, or dig in, or
No,
just
no,
keep pushing through?
yeah, no. It was up ahead a mile
Oh,
or
okay.
so.
Okay. Now, do you know how long you were on that island, Iwo Jima?
Probably not over a couple of days, just until we unloaded.
Now, by the time you got there, is it a forested island? Is there
No.
sand, like,
Oh,
they talk about volcanic ash?
volcanic ash, that's
So
what it was.
the ground was like,
It was, I remember seeing lots of steel netting, so that vehicles, evidently some of them couldn't get out, you know,
okay,
and they put this steel netting down.
trap them.
Well,
Oh.
to run on, you know,
so they
to
could,
run on.
okay.
Yeah.
So when we read about the sands of Iwo Jima, it's pretty accurate. The
Yeah.
sands, they were black and
Yeah, they were black.
from the volcano.
Yeah.
Now, the island, you said there was the one big mountain, right? Okay, and then, now, did you have to go in further than that, or
No,
did
I didn't have to.
you stayed there? Okay. And a couple days or several days, or?
Yeah, several days we were there.
Okay. Now, did they bring casualties back to the ships?
No.
They went out another way. Okay.
I think what they did was got a bulldozer and made a big trench. And
Okay.
I think the Japanese, they just dumped in, and I think ours, they tried to kept them identified. You know?
Now, did you see Japanese that were taken prisoner? Because there weren't. They say there weren't many. Most of them were.
Yeah, but no, I didn't see any. But there wasn't very many taken.
Now, did you guys have casualties from your boat?
No,
Okay.
no.
Now, when that all ended, did you stay there? Would they stayed until the island was secured?
No. We were, after we were unloaded, I'm not sure now whether it was 2 days or 3 days. Then we probably went someplace else to get,
Okay.
maybe to get ready for Okinawa,
Okay.
because we carried troops too.
Oh, that's right, huh?
Yeah, we carried troops.
Of course, the most famous picture of Iwo Jima is the flag raising
Oh,
on
yeah.
Mount Suribachi, and fortunately for us, but were you able to witness the flag?
You know what? I actually did not see the flag going up, but our officer, gunnery officer, he claims that he announced over the PA system they were going to raise the flag on top of Mount Suribachi. But I don't know, for some reason I didn't see it, but I saw it right after, but I didn't actually see it go up. The one you see is not the original
Flag going up.
flag.
Yeah, I've heard that
The-
too.
the-
Yeah.
That was staged. First one went up, but I guess they thought it was a nice picture, and they, I don't know, made it look nicer or more important, or I don't know.
Now, from there, did you go? It was a however many days, and then you said that it was second battle you were in was Okinawa,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Well, we probably had to go back, but I don't remember. We probably had to go back someplace like Guam or
Something like that.
to get
Refit.
the troops and load up whatever equipment we were going to haul.
Now, do you think that people believed at that time it was coming to an end, since you were so close to Japan?
Well,
You were winning, or
personally, I don't think I was, not until the bomb was dropped.
okay, all right. Now, did you ever see British ships at all or anything? Or was it just
No,
the Americans?
no,
Okay.
mostly Americans.
Okay.
I never saw any other ship.
Okay. So until the bombs were dropped,
Yeah,
it was still okay. Now, what do you remember about Okinawa? Was it the same thing where you were waiting outside in the plains?
Yeah, actually, we started Okinawa as a sort of a fake run at the island. We all went. We thought that we would draw their soldiers to this side of the island,
Oh, okay.
and
All right.
and there was a lot of firing, so they must have got some guns there. And then the actual invasion was another part of the island.
Okay.
And then after we did our job, then we went and delivered our stuff.
Now, were there planes up in the sky too this time, or was it not as bad?
Yeah,
Okay.
well, yeah, I saw suicide planes there too.
Now, are our planes up there also?
Oh yeah,
A lot of them.
yeah, a lot of them. Yeah.
We bombed the island too with.
Oh, we bombed it for days before.
Okay. The big ships hammer at it too.
And big
right?
ships too. Yeah.
Okay. Now, could you see them? Are they further out from
Oh,
behind
they're
you?
further out, maybe out of sight even.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. Noise horrible.
Yeah, noise. Yeah.
Yeah.
They bombed Mount Cerbachi for days and days, if not weeks.
Okay.
But they must not have did very much damage
Yeah.
because they were still in their tunnels.
Now you landed on Okinawa too. Did you go in on or no?
Well, actually, I stepped on the ground, or to say, I mean, walked
the ship
around
went
a little
in,
bit.
right?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
But you know, our job was to deliver this stuff. And,
Right. Drops the stuff off. Yeah. Now, would you say that was as rough as fighting as Iwo Jima, or Iwo Jima was a better
I think
one?
Iwo Jima was a tougher one.
Because of that mountain too, or
Well, that, and also, wasn't there about 8,000 or 8,500 killed at Iwo Jima?
I'm not sure of the exact figure. I think there were actually more killed in Okinawa
Was there?
in the battle itself.
Well,
But I'm not sure.
I know that
Brad.
mountain was horrible.
Huh?
The mountain in Iwo Jima was the horrible.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think the fighting on the island of Iwo Jima might have been tougher. Weren't a lot of the casualties in Okinawa on sea?
Yes. Yeah.
At the sea.
Yeah. I think the Japanese really stepped up the kamikaze attacks, and they pretty much let go with everything they had left.
Now, after you dropped the people and stuff off at Okinawa, did your landing craft stay there long, or do you pull out?
No, we never stayed too long, you know, maybe a couple of days or something like that. But then they would send us to go out and do another job,
Okay.
you know. Like I was saying a while ago, we took on a bunch of Korean people once,
Okay. Now, when did that happen? Is that
probably
before the two
early,
islands?
when the war ended, 45.
August of '45.
Probably about that time,
After the bombs?
after, maybe even after, well, I'm not sure now, after the bombs. Maybe after the bombs, I'm not sure now. But we took these Koreans, we were supposed to take them to Korea, but due to some type of epidemic, we didn't take them to Korea, we dumped them off in Japan.
So did you pick them up on an island?
Yeah.
Now, did you get to see them? Were you
Oh yeah.
okay?
Yeah.
What uniform? Tan or something, or green, or are they wearing an
Well,
outfit? Or?
yeah, a lot of these were men, women, and children. You know, because they were there for slave labor. You know.
Oh, okay.
And I remember we had quite a few of them on, and you know, they ate a lot of rice, and well, there's no way we could cook for all those people, you know, and so they would get drums and put the rice in, and so much water. I don't know how they did that. They stuck a steam hose in it, in the drum, and that's the way the rice was cooked. And it wasn't as clean as ours. I mean, you could see pieces of dirt floating around and everything. Yeah, that's the way they cooked the rice.
They seem. Did you think they were grateful?
I think. I mean, they were pleasant enough. I mean,
Okay.
they didn't.
And it was men, children too.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow. Okay. And then you ended up just dropping them off.
But we dropped them off in Japan.
Okay. Now, did you ever have? Had you ever picked up other people at other places? Never
No,
had
no.
prisoners or anything like that.
No,
Okay.
So the Japanese hijacked or kidnapped these
Right.
people from
Yeah,
Korea
right.
and took them to various islands.
Yep.
But nobody on the ship could probably speak to them, huh?
Probably not.
Yeah.
They might have had somebody that could speak English. I don't know, but
Did you ever come across any Americans that were enslaved by the Japanese? Because
No.
I know there were
Yeah.
a lot.
No.
Now, how long did people on the ship know that those bombs might be dropped, the atomic bombs?
No, we
Was there
didn't
any
know
talk there?
about
Did you
it.
find out after they were dropped?
After.
Okay, so that was kept quiet.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, what happened after Okinawa? Did you go back to Guam or something? And,
Yeah, we went someplace. Well, probably not Guam. That's when we went to pick up, I think, these prisoners, or the slaves.
Okay.
Yeah.
Rest of the war, do you think you were out at sea most of the time, or at an island, or?
Well, yeah, we were at sea. I mean, we'd pick something up. I don't know, we took something to Japan.
Okay. Oh, you did.
Yeah.
Now, was that after the bombs, right?
Yeah, after the bombs. I was in Tokyo and.
Now, do you remember hearing about the bombs being dropped?
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
What do you think the guys on the boat thought of that?
Well, they were all pretty happy.
Yeah.
That's a heck of a thing to say, but.
Yeah. Well, it's a lot of debate today.
Yeah.
But if you were back then and your buddies were getting killed,
Right.
and it was you or them,
Yep.
you'd be more for family.
Yeah.
You know, okay. So you
They were
think
warned, I guess.
dropped leaflets and yeah. Okay.
Do you remember when you heard it, the specific time, specific moment that you heard the war was over?
Well, they told us immediately over the PA system, you know. The officers would get the notice and then they would announce it over the system. And so I probably knew it a few minutes after the officers knew it.
And what did the men do at sea? I mean, were they firing their guns? Or?
They were. In fact, I was scared. There were so many. The sky was completely lit up. Because, you know, every second or third bullet, I'm not sure what now, was a tracer.
Okay.
It would light up. And the sky was just bright.
Now, were you close to Japan when that happened? Or you'd been farther away, right?
I think I was further away then, but I don't remember where.
So you had heard about both of the bombs dropping?
Yeah.
Okay. And then a couple days after that, the Japanese announced their surrender.
Yeah.
Now, you said you went to Japan after that, though, right?
Yeah, we went to Japan after that.
Okay. Well, what was...
I'm not sure what our mission was there. I mean...
But you got off and...
Yeah, we was able to get off and...
Did you
like I
have
said,
some leave?
Huh?
Did you have leave time there to walk around?
Yeah,
or not?
yeah.
What do you think of the countryside?
Well, at that time it was
Devastated, huh?
devastated, yeah.
Okay. What about even the farms and stuff and the tree? Was everything pretty...
Well, I did see some farms and stuff like that, but all the grocery stores had nothing in them. And, they had one great big store. I think it was like maybe a little bit like our mall. It sold everything. It had practically nothing in it.
Now, could you see where there had been evidence of bombings, like the...
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Now, you said you were in Tokyo, too?
Yeah, I was in Tokyo.
Okay. What was that like? Is it...
Run down, nothing there.
People?
At that time. Well, lots of people, and none of them gave us trouble.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. Anybody in military uniforms or just...
Oh, we were all uniformed.
Okay.
It was a little bit cold. I remember I had the navy blue suit on and a pea coat. It was cold.
Were you worried about somebody shooting you or anything, or no? No.
I guess not. I don't think.
Now, did the Japanese army still out and about, or was it just civilians?
Well, I didn't
Japanese
see
people?
them. I didn't, if there was, they took their uniform off.
Right. Now, the city, like when you were in Tokyo and that stuff, was it in good shape, or could you tell it had been bombed?
No, you could tell it was bombed.
Okay.
Yeah. One thing about the Japanese, they must be pretty clean people. Because while we were wearing our blues and a pea coat, there was men and women in the river taking baths.
Really?
And it was cold. Yeah.
Yeah, that's strange.
Yeah.
I remember reading the options that Harry Truman had and the military had of which sites they would target for the atomic bomb. Tokyo was ruled out because 85% of the city was already annihilated anyway,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
the bomb wasn't going to have the same effect there, so it must have been a sight.
Now, how much longer were you in the service before you were then allowed to go home?
Well, I was there quite a bit since I was one of the younger men on the ship. We brought the ship back to Frisco. We brought I think brought it back something like March or April or something.
Okay.
That'd be 46.
And where did you come back to?
San Francisco.
Okay, all right.
Then the ship went into mothballs, and then later on, it was scrapped.
Okay. Now, did you stay in San Francisco for a while?
No, we brought the ship back as soon as it was secure.
And then what did you do from there?
Well, from there we took a train to Bainbridge, Maryland. I was discharged from there.
Okay. What did you think of San Francisco?
Well, I mean, it was okay.
Were people excited that you guys were coming home or anything?
yeah,
or-
yeah,
Okay.
I think so.
They were nice to everybody. And,
Yeah, yeah.
What?
Now, and then from there you took a train to...
Train, and it
Oh, sorry.
the train. It was a long, long trip because we were sidetracked for any passenger trains or any trains that were carrying something more important.
Really?
We did a lot of sitting around.
Now, were you in uniform the way home?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the only thing we had.
Okay. And then you went to where in Maryland?
Bainbridge.
Okay. Is that a base too, or is it?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Now, were you there for a while?
Not very long. I could have been there a day or two or something like that.
Okay. And then they discharge you.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, did they? That was it then? They said you're done with the service. It's
Yeah, we got our discharge and
okay.
they gave us a ticket to Pittsburgh and
Okay. Now, how did you get there? Was that train
train.
to Pittsburgh too?
Yeah.
Okay. That came right in. I wonder if that's the Amtrak station that's there now, or I wouldn't know.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't remember. Maybe Penn Central, was it open then? What did they call it, Penn Station? It was open then.
I imagine.
Yeah, it was open then.
Now, how from Pittsburgh up to?
I don't remember, but probably somebody come after me.
Yeah, and then you got it. Okay. Now, your brother was he in the? You said he went in the service after
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
Okay, so when you came home, he wasn't home yet?
Oh no, in fact, maybe he was already in the service, but the war was over when he went in for sure.
Okay, now did he serve in the United States or did he?
He served 2 years up and down the East Coast. I'm just not sure what they did, but
Yeah.
Now, do you remember going in your house the first time after the war,
no,
seeing your mother
no, I
the
don't
first
remember,
time?
But I'm sure I was excited.
Now, do you think when you came home and looked back at what you had done, do you think that you knew how big of a deal in history that was, that this was a monumental?
I was young. I probably didn't think too much about it. I don't know.
Now, as the years went on,
Oh yeah, as years went on. Yeah.
and because it's the most talked about.
Yeah.
I mean, Civil War is too, but obviously. So, but at that time, now when you came home, how old were you? You're probably.
Well, I might have been in my late 20s.
Okay. So, but when you came back, it was all so new to you. It didn't seem like a.
Yeah. And all the parades, they were all done then, you know.
Okay.
I mean,
Now, but you'd say as the years went on later, then you realized how
Yeah.
important it was.
Yeah, right.
And did you know when you were in the Pacific, or when you first went in, did they tell you whenever Germany surrendered?
Oh yeah, they told us.
Okay. Okay, but that was the other theater, so it didn't
Yeah.
really matter.
Yeah.
And between, and I'm going to back up for a second. Between Okinawa and the time the bomb was dropped, was there any discussion on your ship about the possible Battle of Japan or what
Talk
might
was-
come next?
There was talk about it made in Japan.
And that had to be pretty fearful to the men
Yeah.
on the ship.
Yeah.
Do you think that the soldiers, the American soldiers, respected the Japanese as tough fighters?
They were tough fighters. I'm sure they did.
Yeah.
Because they were treacherous bunch of people. They would dig holes. This is what they told me. I mean, I didn't go out to the field to find out. They would dig holes and cover themselves up with a reed, and after we went past, they would jump out of that hole and maybe get 5 or 6 or 7 of us before they got him. I mean, they did things like that. I mean,
Well, plus with the suicide planes.
yeah,
that you had
suicide
said
planes.
too,
Yeah.
So you'd say that the idea of attacking Japan was probably scary to most people.
It was, yeah. Uh-huh.
You'd think they wouldn't want to surrender. Yeah. Now, when you came back here, were you still in the blue houses?
Yeah, Blue Row. Yeah.
Okay. Did you go to work right away, or what was
No, not for a little while. I went to work at this company store for a while,
Okay.
and then I maybe worked there 4 or 5 months.
Is that the mining?
Mining store.
And
Yeah.
you mean like, is it like a general store? Or?
Yeah, general. They sold everything though. You know, they sold washers and
Oh, really? I thought it
all
was just
kinds
like
of
a
stuff,
grocery store.
clothes
Oh, okay.
and everything. No, it was
Okay.
more than a grocery store
A lot of people work in that mine then, huh?
at that time. Yeah,
Okay, had to be huge. Okay.
yeah.
And then after that, after working at the company store,
Then I went to the limestone mine.
okay. And now, what did some of the other guys in that row had served too?
Yeah, well, yeah,
Okay.
a lot of them.
Okay. And some of them were in the Pacific Theater.
A few of them.
Okay. Now you never ran into any of them over there, right?
No,
It was too
no.
big.
No.
Right.
But I knew of fellows that were in the same convoy I was.
Okay.
Of course, I found this out later, years after the war was over.
Neighbors of yours?
Well, a friend.
Okay.
Neighbors are... yeah, a neighbor too. Pete Severio claimed that he was on one of them. And
He lived next to you?
he lived right next to me.
Okay.
And
Is he from, where was he from? Was he an immigrant family, or was he?
oh yeah, immigrant family. yeah.
Okay. Was that back from your town, your dad's town, or?
No, they were from a different town, but close by.
Okay. All right. Now, from what you know from the guys that were your age that were living in there, did most of them make it back okay?
Yeah, most of them did. I mean, there was a number of people killed, though.
Okay. But most of the guys you were friends with
Yeah, they
didn't get hurt, or they were
right.
all okay?
Well, yeah,
Okay. Now, some of them fought in Europe too?
most of them in Europe.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. And like you said, that's where you would have.
Well, I'd have liked to go on there, so there might have been a chance I could have got to Italy,
Okay.
because several people I know did do that. I think Dominic Mazzuti was, yeah, but he went afterwards, though. He went after the war. But somebody else, they got to see their family.
Well,
I
they
can't
were.
think of who it is now.
Now, after the limestone, you had said you were there like 8 years or 9 years?
8 or 9 years. Then I went into the oil and gas business
Okay, now is that in that area too, in Brisbane?
in this area.
Over here. Now,
Yeah.
did you move to this house?
Yeah,
Or was there a house in between?
well, yeah, I got married. We moved to a apartment in East Brady and then come out here.
Okay. Now, you had already known her, your wife,
Well,
before the.
not before
Okay. Okay. And she is from
East Brady.
East Brady. Okay. And then, what was it like working for the gas and oil?
Yeah.
What did you do? Were you?
Well, I drilled, pumped, serviced wells.
And
Even
you-
drilled a few wells.
Now, do you remember your first car?
First car.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do. Yeah. 36 Ford.
Oh, okay.
What year was that?
30. Oh, I don't know.
After World War II.
After 46, someplace.
Where'd you get that at? Did you buy that from?
Actually from a farmer, the farmer that I worked for.
Okay.
he got too old and he wasn't allowed to drive or anything. And the brakes were always bad. I was always adjusting the brakes, mechanical brakes, but they were terrible.
Now, at that time here, people go into Maine Butler much? Or go into Clarence? Like, was it common to ever visit downtown Butler? Or, like, if you had to get something that wasn't here, where would you go?
Butler. There was a bus back then running from East Brady's Bend to Butler.
Okay, because I don't think there was a train track, was there?
There was a train track, but it didn't go to Butler, though, I don't think.
Okay. So if you were going to get something, Butler's where you would
Yeah.
you would go. Okay. Now, did you like working for the oil and gas?
I liked it. I liked it, but it's a tough business.
Yeah.
You know, it's dirty, cold in the winter, and hot in the summer. And when we're all broke down, regardless of what the weather, you had to fix it.
Now, could you tell after the war that the economy had changed, and like you were telling about, you were saying how things were just really poor,
Yeah.
and then you think after the war you could tell there was a huge.
Oh yeah, everybody got jobs. And
Really? Okay.
back then, I'm not sure then, but you could quit a job in the morning, and get mad at Penrico, and go down to Whitco and they hire you. I mean, the job was that easy to get.
Right. Yeah. So it's a whole nother ball game after
Yeah.
World War II.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Now, whenever was the oil company your last job?
Yeah,
You stayed there. That was the last job that you had.
yeah.
Okay, so you were there. What? How long? Another
I
10 or
don't know.
20 years or something, or?
I got in the oil business, I think 1947 or 8, and I was in it till I retired, 88.
Okay. Oh, you were there a long time.
Yeah.
Okay.
I wasn't working for anybody, I was working for myself.
Okay. Now, have you been able to go back to Italy to see where you?
I went to Italy 12 or 14 times.
Okay.
I guessed 14 times on the trip here.
Yeah, okay.
That was my guess, 14.
Yeah.
Now, whenever you were talking about they'd come over when the Italian immigrants had come over, all that, did that immigration kind of stop in this area after World War II? Like there was a lot of you that came over in the.
A lot of them stopped here due to, they were, you know, good friends or relatives, but there's a lot of people went other places too.
I was wondering why here because
Yeah.
of the mining.
Well, somebody, I don't know who it was. I mean, somebody come over here and got a job, and they called for their relatives to come here, or, you know, or suggested they come here. And so that a lot of people from Villa San Angelo settled in Brady's Bend or the area.
Okay.
1970 was, I believe, the first year you went back, because
1970.
I still remember that evening quite well myself, driving down to the airport. Do you remember what it was like that first trip back? It had to be a little more special than
Well, it was. I mean,
every time.
You know, my dad came over in 1906. Then another uncle came in 1919 or 1920. They always worked here. And they sent money back and built this house over there because the intentions, I believe, is to build this house, save a little money, and go back.
Oh, really?
I think that was the intention. I think it was the intention of a lot of people.
Not to stay here.
Yeah, but it wasn't. The first time was probably the most thrilling time. I mean, just think, I maybe slept in the same bed my dad did. I may have walked in his footprints a lot of places. Went in and out of the house out of the same door. You know, I mean, it was special.
Now, has that village changed much? Do you think?
Now it's completely destroyed. Earthquake,
Oh, okay.
completely
Yeah.
destroyed.
What about where your dad grew up? Is that house still there?
It's standing but damaged where he was born, but the
Okay.
house he's built is also damaged. It was a nice big house.
Who's in those now? Is it relatives or not?
They were relatives. Although my dad and my one uncle Gino spent all the money build this home, Uncle Louie never made a penny. So he didn't, none of his dollars went in this house. And, but it's all cracked. I don't know if it'll ever be able to get fixed.
Now, do you think, you were talking about they were going to make money here and then send it back to build a house?
Well, they did do that.
Okay. Now, do you think in Italy people thought that this was America was a place to go make money?
Yeah, well,
So,
yeah.
okay. Versus going to Germany or like,
Yeah.
it like
But some people went to Germany.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
But this was the place to come, though.
Okay. You think people thought it was just a place for jobs?
Right,
You know.
right.
Okay. All right. Well, you don't think they had planned on staying here? And they just
I don't think my dad was planning, because they built this house big enough for 3 families,
Really?
if everything would have worked out right.
What do you think changed his mind? Just
Well, the
Right.
Depressions, well, then he got killed in 1931.
right. Okay.
But my other uncle, Gino, who's probably put more money in this house than my dad, he never went back. Oh, to visit, but I mean, you know. But due to the Depression, a lot of ideas that my dad had didn't materialize, you know.
Yeah.
Because there would be slow down in work, they'd only work 2 or 3 days a week and
Right.
things like that.
Now, do you of all the cars you've had, do you have a favorite?
Of all the what?
All the cars you ever had, or is it that the first one? Or the,
I'll tell you, I hate to say this, but my wife thought the Hyundai we had was the best one. And I thought it was real nice. The only one come close to it, we had a Ford Taurus once. It was pretty nice.
now, when you look back at all the working at the oil place and the limestone, do you think the oil business was the best job? you
Well,
had,
that's
too?
what I liked the best, yeah.
Okay.
It was my own company, I mean, you know.
Right. Okay. Now, the other thing too, do you think most of the people were Catholics in the Blue Row, or were they Protestants, or?
Well, there was some Protestant, the majority were Catholics, though.
Okay. Now, there was a specific church.
Yeah, we all went to St. Patrick's.
Okay, and that's still there now.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And then now, was there a main church that you went to over here, like where you're at here? Is he still St. Patrick's? Do you go
It's
to?
St. Patrick's.
Okay. And over in East Brady or Brady's Bend?
That's in Brady's Bend.
Okay. All right.
Do you have anything else that?
Well, I think I'm pretty fortunate. I think we all are. Whenever my dad was killed, Mom was under a lot of pressure to go back to Italy. But if she'd go back to Italy, go back to what? Over here, she did get a little relief. I think she got $30 a month back there to feed 5 people. So I'm glad she stayed here. So we're all here.
Now, but you know, one other thing too, when like the other conflicts came, like the Korean War and stuff like that, do you think those were looked at as big of wars? And then Vietnam?
Well, I think WW2 was the biggest.
Was the
Yeah,
biggest,
that
right.
was, but I had a brother who served in Korea.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Okay.
He served 2 years.
Okay. It'd be different because you were in something so huge. I wondered when those other wars came along later, what you thought too. Now was whenever you got into the 60s and the 70s and the stuff with Kennedy and Nixon and stuff like that, would you say the people around here were more one way or another? Were they more pro? Would you say you were a Kennedy person or?
I would say I was a Kennedy person.
Okay.
But regardless of who it was, I would not like to see any president come to that end.
Yeah.
I don't care,
Okay.
you know, whether I liked him or didn't like him.
Okay. You think he was well liked?
I think he was. I mean, he had a lot of charisma.
But it seemed like he was for the poor and the middle class too. And
I guess he did a lot of things that didn't come out till recently, but
yeah. Well,
Okay.
thanks for having me.
Yep, okay.
It was a pleasure.
Okay, Brad Pflugh, thank you very much, and he is one of the leading historians in Butler County without a doubt. And John Batista, thank you for your time, and
Okay.
really appreciate it. And in the background, my sister Amy, who's making us spaghetti, and that is certainly going to be our dessert for today. Okay.